"Your Honor," shouted the security guard, "this homeless man is trying to enter the courtroom." A man was struggling with police officers. Worn coat, dirty beard, plastic bag in his hand. The lawyers chuckled. The spectators whispered. Judge Brennan frowned. "Get him out," he said. "This is a courtroom, not a shelter." But as they threw the man out, the officers didn't notice. Underneath the plastic bag, something was visible through the rusty zipper gap. A gold badge. It read, "Supreme Court, Retired Honorary Judge." And 3 hours later, that homeless man would sit on the bench. But first, everyone would show him how they treated him. And he would take note. Every insult, every act of disregard. 18 hours earlier, Marcus Webb looked at himself in the mirror. He was 68 years old. His gray eyes had once represented justice in the country's most important courts. Now he was taking a makeup sponge in his hand, carefully applying dirt stains to his face. He pulled an old coat out of the wardrobe, 15 years old, full of holes. He tousled his hair, sprayed it with oil to make it look unwashed. He muddied his shoes. His wife Sarah stood at the door, worried. "Marcus, this is dangerous. What if someone recognizes you?" Marcus smiled. "I retired 30 years ago. No one recognizes me. They don't even look anymore." "But why? Why are you doing this?" Marcus turned, took his wife's hands. "Because tomorrow I'll make a decision about a homeless man, and before I decide, I need to see his world, really see it." Sarah nodded. "Be careful." He arrived at the courthouse entrance and stopped on the marble steps. He had a plastic bag in his hand, newspapers, a water bottle, half a sandwich. He took a deep breath and went inside. At the security checkpoint, a young guard, Tyler, 25, looked at him and frowned. "Hold on. What are you here for?" "To watch the trial," Marcus said calmly. Tyler looked him up and down. Dirty coat, holey socks, plastic bag. Indrad D. Marcus handed over an old driver's license. Tyler examined it. "This photo doesn't look like you." "It's 10 years old. People change." Tyler looked skeptical. "Which trial?" "Sterling versus the state. Homelessness charges." "Are you on trial?" "No, just an observer." Tyler called to his friend, Ron, an older attendant. "This guy wants in." Ron approached, looked at Marcus. "There's a dress code. You don't look appropriate." "I'm wearing a coat and pants," said Marcus. "That's sufficient under the law." Tyler stepped forward. "You're not a lawyer. Don't argue the law with me. Get out." Marcus didn't budge. "Court is open to the public. It's my constitutional right." Tyler's face flushed. "I see a risk of disruption. Security." 2 officers approached. They grabbed Marcus's arms. Just then, a woman intervened. Sarah Chen, the court clerk in a black suit, her gaze sharp. "What's going on?" Tyler explained. "This man wants to enter, but he's inappropriate." Sarah looked at Marcus. She studied his eyes. Calm, determined, something unexpected there. Then she looked at Marcus's plastic bag, the pens inside, the newspaper. "Which trial?" she asked. "Sterling versus the state," said Marcus. Sarah nodded. "It's a public hearing." "Let him in," Tyler objected. "But I don't see a serious violation. He can come in." She turned to Marcus. "Be quiet. Sit in the back." Marcus bowed his head. "Thank you." He went inside. Tyler grumbled. "We're inviting trouble." Marcus sat in the back corner. A young woman next to him, a law student, noticed his scent and moved away, increasing the distance between them. The lawyers were talking up front. Defense attorney Jonathan Pierce. "My client didn't commit a crime. He just lived. He slept in the park because he had nowhere else to go." Prosecutor Rebecca Holt laughed. "He trespassed on public property. The law is clear. Jail time is appropriate." Pierce looked at her with furrowed brows. "Being homeless isn't a crime, but breaking the law is," Holt said. Then she looked at the audience, her eyes landing on Marcus. "Most of those who apologize for the homeless have never lived on the streets. They don't know the truth." Marcus gripped his pen tightly. The door opened. "All rise." Judge Harold Brennan entered, 60-something, stern face, authority. He sat down, banged his gavel. "Sterling versus the state. Let's begin." Prosecutor Holt opened. Defendant David Sterling was warned 5 times, fined twice. He didn't pay. We now seek 30 days in jail. The law must apply to everyone. Attorney Pierce responded, David Sterling is a veteran, served 15 years. He was diagnosed with PTSD, lost his job, lost his home. He slept in the park because he had nowhere else to go. To call this a crime is cruel. David Sterling took the witness stand, in his 40s, thin, wearing torn clothes. He took the oath. Pierce asked, Why did you sleep in the park? I had nowhere else to go. The shelter? It's full. 200 people every night, only 50 beds. Family? None. My brother won't talk to me. He's ashamed. Silence fell. Prosecutor Holt questioned, How many warnings did you receive? 5. Did you change the rules? I couldn't. I had nowhere else to go. Did you find a job? I tried. No one will hire me. I have no address. I can't take a shower. Holt coldly, You are not above the law, Mr. Sterling. David replied quietly, The law is above me. That's why I'm here. Marcus watched him, his eyes filled with tears. He took notes, but not words, shapes. He kept his hands busy because otherwise he would have stood up and shouted. Witnesses arrived. Police. Sterling didn't cooperate. Park attendant. Homeless people disturb families. Business owner. Customers don't want to see people sleeping in front of the store. Everyone said the same thing. Homeless people are a problem. They should be removed. No one asked, where to? There was a break. A young reporter, Tom Waverly, approached Marcus. Hello, City Tribune. What do you think about the hearing? Marcus spoke quietly. I think this country has forgotten. Homeless people are human. Are you homeless yourself? Marcus looked at him. What do you think? Tom took notes. I'll write a story. The story is right here, Marcus said, pointing to the podium. A man who served 15 years will be imprisoned because he has nowhere to sleep. In the hallway, Marcus ran into David Sterling. Mr. Sterling, Marcus said, I see you. Your struggle, I see it. David's eyes welled up. Thank you. Are you on the streets too? Marcus nodded. I used to be. It was a lie, but it felt true. They shook hands. Final arguments, Holt. The law was broken. Sterling is guilty. 30 days in jail. Pierce. Punishing a man for being homeless is unjust. Imprisoning him won't solve the problem. Judge Brennan listened. This is a difficult decision. 20-minute recess. He left. 20 minutes later, Judge Brennan returned. But someone else was with him. Chief Justice Linda Morrison, the state's most senior judge. Everyone was surprised. Morrison stepped to the bench. Mr. Brennan, one moment. I'm intervening in this case, Brennan, stunned. On what grounds? Morrison scanned the courtroom, her eyes locking on Marcus. Because there is a special observer in this courtroom today. And we cannot close this case without reading his report. Everyone looked back. At Marcus. Morrison continued. Excuse me, an honorary judge Marcus Webb, please come forward. The courtroom froze. Tyler, the security guard, gasped. The lawyers' mouths fell open. Marcus stood up. He straightened his coat. He walked forward. Morrison spoke. Judge Webb served on the Supreme Court for 30 years. He called me last night. I want to observe the Sterling case tomorrow, he said, but keep my identity secret. Like a homeless person, I agreed. Brennan looked stunned. Marcus approached the podium, found his voice, no longer trembling, authoritative. This morning I entered this building, and I was denied entry because I didn't look appropriate. The security guard told me I was a disturbance risk. The spectators moved away from me. The lawyer told me, those who don't live on the streets don't know the truth. Tyler bowed his head. Marcus continued. I watched David Sterling, a man who served his country for 15 years, suffering from PTSD, homeless, and the system tells him, sleeping is a crime, 30 days in jail. Silence. But the system forgets. Homelessness isn't a choice. It's a disaster, an illness, bad luck. And to punish a person because they have nowhere else to go, that's not justice. It's cruelty. He turned to Brennan. Judge Brennan, I call on you to dismiss this case. Sterling is innocent, and if the laws make him guilty, we need to change the laws. Morrison nodded. I concur. Brennan paused, then he spoke. The case is dismissed. Mr. Sterling, you are free. David Sterling wept. The audience applauded. Outside, Marcus took off his coat, straightened his suit. Reporter Tom approached him. Judge Webb, this story, it's incredible. Why did you do it? Marcus looked out over the city. Because nobody sees the homeless. I became invisible too, and I saw the system, the prejudice, the cruelty. What will change? Marcus smiled. Everything. Tomorrow I'm submitting a bill to the state legislature. Homelessness is not a crime. Shelter is a basic human right. And I'll use this case as an example. Tom wrote. What should the headline be? Marcus turned. The homeless man they threw out of court was a judge, and he changed the system. 3 months later, the law passed. Statewide, homelessness is not a crime. Shelters were expanded. PTSD programs were established. David Sterling now lived in an apartment and had a new job. Tyler, the security guard, took mandatory empathy training. Marcus Webb came out of retirement and became a counselor, and a sign was hung at the entrance of every courthouse. Justice does not look at appearance. Remember whom you serve